until that day when all are one. Autobots, transform and roll out!
Well, everybody, here he is. You've probably heard me talk a lot about this character before, but here is the actual toy. Armada Starscream. And what's even better, what's huge about this review, is that, as you can see, it's the Takara Armada Starscream. And if you don't know what Atara is basically the Japanese Transformers. There's very few differences in between the two, but usually the Takara Transformers include shinier plastic and usually different and more show-accurate paint jobs. And believe it or not, on Amazon, this was the cheapest option to buy Starscream I could find. It's like, the American versions were about $74 to $114, but this Takara was like $60, so I have no idea how I ran into such a great deal. But anyways, here he is, Armada Starscream. Now, I probably, if you want to hear a lot about the character, see my animated Starscream review, but Armada Starscream, in my opinion, is the best Starscream because he's actually interesting. Although the whiny, sniveling traitor Starscream can be amusing and entertaining at times, Armada Starscream goes beyond that limits. He's deep, he's interesting, and throughout the series, he's set up differently. You actually feel sorry for him. You actually feel sorry for the Starscream because all throughout the show, you know he's trying. You know he's trying very hard to get some respect. You know he's trying hard just to feel good, but no matter what happens, he always gets bad breaks, all of his bad breaks from Megatron and his team in general, and then he starts to form a rebellion when Sideways, and I think it's Demolisher, kind of appreciate him for wanting to stand up against Megatron. But all throughout this thing, brutal things happen to him. He gets tossed off a cliff. I think he's one of the last members on his main staff to get a mini-con. And he actually, in one episode that's my favorite, it's called Rebellion, he gets beaten by Megatron, and it's so brutal. It's in a dark room, the shading's all messed up, and it's literally like Megatron is beating him like an abusive father would to a child. So, and actually, the great thing about this one is that he joins the Decepticons, the Decepticons, he joins the Autobots, and he's actually powerful. He has narrow beam cannons, which are essentially two cannons that fire, I think, raw plasma and can blow anything up, and his left wing turns into a sword. I think it's left wing. Some people say left or right wing, but oh well. So yeah, his left wing turns into a sword. And another cool thing is that the human characters are actually, it's kind of cool when they're mixed in with Starscream in the show. The human characters give Starscream something he probably never has had. They give him basically a feeling of kinship. They actually like Starscream. A lot of them love Starscream. He actually knows what it feels like to be liked. Starscream actually gets friends in Transformers Armada, and that's why when Thrust tricks him into joining the Decepticons, he doesn't have the nerve to kill the human characters, and that's what leads him to rejoin with the Autobots and eventually die trying to kill Unicron. And Armada Starscream's death ranks up there with the top 3 Transformers deaths on an emotional scale. I think it would be the death of Optimus Prime from the movie, the death of Prowl from animated, then there's the death of Armada Starscream from, Armada. So by far, this is one of my favorite characters in the Transformers franchise, and I believe that if you took every single last Starscream, G1, Energon, Cybertron, animated, and if you the Bayformers Starscream, and if you combine them all into one, Armada Starscream could still, defeat this hybrid of Starscreams easy. But anyway, the Takara version is really impressive. Sorry about that, I just had a little visitor. And also, another interesting thing is that he actually has a better paint job. As you can see, unlike the American version, it's actually, I wouldn't say that's entirely that different, but his plastic is completely white, whereas in the American version it was a little bit gray. I don't really understand that. And instead of the yellows, they have this nicely painted on gold. So this gold shines brighter, but aside from that, he's the same thing. But still, with this more accurate paint job, this makes him the superior Transformers mold. Let's see if I can get a better camera angle. And here is, again, the artwork is awesome. It's great. I think it even comes with his own card. And here you have Swindle, which is his mini-con, basically a racer who activates his narrow beam cannons. He transforms into a jet. Here is his robot mode, the narrow beam cannons, where Swindle goes on his jet mode. And here you have more advertisement. See, you have Autobots, Red Alert, Hotshot, Optimus, Smokescreen, and I don't know what that is. Oh, Laserbeak, Minicons, you have, you know, Autobot or Decepticons. Decepticons, you have, I don't know what that is, Cyclonus, Starscream, Demolisher, and I don't know who that is. Maybe it's Sideways. I've never seen this, I haven't seen this character yet in the show. Awesome artwork, there he is. All in Japanese, so I can't read it, so if you want me to show you what it means, sorry, you're not going to get that. But yeah, I'm going to open Armada Starscream up. Actually, I can open him up now, since this, thankfully, Japanese packaging isn't as tiring and boring as American packaging, and it's easier. No stringy wires either. You just take this off. There we go. Just look at that bad boy. I hope I'm getting him well. Just look at him. Completely awesome. And he actually makes sounds out of the box. Unlike our Armada Galvatron, I did not have to get batteries. He just makes them. And afterwards, you have more stuff. Let's see. Here are his instructions and his card, and the card's in English, too. Oh, and by the way, Transformers Armada is not called Transformers in Japan. I think it's called Super Child Life from Planet Transformers, which is kind of weird, but I think, yeah, Armada's better. I can't read these, sadly, but I bet his description... If you want Starscream's depiction, again, Tragic Hero. You can go with Tragic Hero. There's his card. Really well painted. Starscream. Turn the back. There's his Japanese form. There's his robot car form. And you have the instructions, which luckily, since I completely judged them on picture, I cannot, you know, tell what they are. And Armada toys are fairly easy to transform. And also, you have, of course, his accessories. Swindle and 2 thrusters or narrow beam cans or whatever. And these actually have strings. Oh my god. Let's see now. Sorry if this is boring. Another interesting thing is that for some reason the repaint of Starscream when he's an Autobot is called Thundercracker, but I don't know why they just could have called him Starscream. I think it's Unicron repaint, or Minicon repaint, because I believe the Minicons repaint him later in the series. So I almost have them out. I need to get the 2 strings loose. Well, that's one thing that hasn't been changed about the American to Japanese versions. There we go. And here you have his 2 thrusters, which look like fireballs rather than actual pegs that you see in Galvatron and Megatron. You slide them in there. You put them in there. They lock on a spring. There you go. So now it looks like he's flying. Though not as big as effect as animated Starscream. And Swindle only has 1, but boy is it wrapped up. Okay. And voila! Here you have Swindle. He's a pretty good-looking Minicon. There he is. He's a good-looking Minicon, and although, yeah, Minicons definitely aren't the hardest things to transform, they're still cool. I like the idea of them essentially being steroids, and if you turn him on his side, you obviously see the robot in him. This is easy. You just, let's see if I can find it. These arms go out. Then his feet separate. There we go. Turn them around. Pull this chest piece down, if I can find a way. Let's see. And there you have Swindle. pretty easy to transform, and I kind of like these weird little arms he has. They're just like blades. Look at that. His face is also kind of cool. He's a cute minicon general. All the minicons technically are cute. He's one of my favorites, though. But to activate his power, I'm going to transform him back. There we go. There's Swindle. And now for the main course, which is Starscream here. Now, actually, let me get a better angle of him. There we go. Now, the vehicle mode at first looks sloppy, but then you can actually grow to respect it. It has an awesome paint job, as I said before. The Decepticon logos are really well done. Some of the best looking Decepticon logos I've ever seen. The thrusters snap into place well, and of course, he has the bottom part, which you may look for kibble, and it's clear that these are his legs. You can obviously see his arms here. So yeah, but one thing I love about this is that they made this nose straight, whereas in the American version, where in the American version, if I bend it a little bit, the American Armada Starscream was always kind of pointing down like that. Now, I don't know why they did that. Maybe it's because they thought that if it wasn't straight, like if you crash into something, it just folds down. But I don't know. I mean, it's already patted on gently, so if that was the reason, I don't see why they could have just kept it straight. I mean, bending it down because apparently it could be dangerous, that's kind of lame. It's not that bent down, but you get the idea. And also, I think these arms are, like, I think they're supposed to be missile launchers, but where do the missiles launch? And he doesn't come with missiles, so it's kind of out of place. But still, also when comparing, like, this thin nose to the rest of this big, blocky body, it kind of stands out. So I think animated Starscream wins against Armada Starscream in vehicle mode, but Armada Starscream has the superior robot mode, and that's why I really buy Transformers 4. Swindle is supposed to go on here, though I don't exactly know how. I understand if he's like this, but how he's supposed to go down here, I don't have a clue, really. Huh. If I look at the instructions, apparently, he's spring-loaded, it seems, and you literally just clamp him on. It's like there's a spring system. Huh. Apparently there are two locks here, which are supposed to make Swindle snap in place. Huh. There we go. You snap him in place, and he just kind of stays there, but he really doesn't do anything. It's like Starscream's just giving him a ride. And he presses down, and apparently he makes different sound effects now. Which is kind of weird. Huh. And now he makes different sound effects, which again is weird. So that's kind of odd. Well, that is essentially what Swindle does. Whoops. Then it just comes off. It says it's supposed to spring, it's supposed to just drop him, but it doesn't happen. Yeah, so he just kind of goes into this weird system. Odd. Now, for his gimmick, you put Swindle on here. And apparently it's kind of tight at first. And he can't really move the narrow beam cannons. But I think if you can manage to fit him in there, the narrow beam cannons will go down in his jet mode. But apparently he cannot really attach here because he's smushed together, and these narrow beam cannons do not allow him to just go in there. So again, really, these narrow beam cannons in jet mode are just used to show like he's taking off, which is odd. Now, the transformation I've seen before, and I think I can get the hang of it. You just... You take these up. Or maybe not. There we go. Then you turn these around. Get them up, and of course those become his legs. Then you extend the heels. Then you take the hip. Whoa, whoops. And apparently his head's supposed to come up when this snaps in place. There we go. The hip locks into place and it snaps his head up. You just bring this down. Whoops. Don't want to get the knees in the way. Now, you just get his fists out. Kind of hard to do. Okay, this one's out. And the fists are kind of tiny in comparison with the show. Wow, I'm really stretching out my voice today. And there you have Armada Starscream in his robot mode. But I have the feeling you're supposed to do something with these arms, like stretch them out. Let me take a look at the instructions. Apparently you do. You're supposed to stretch them out. Like from the slot. There we go. There. I think you're supposed to do that, really. No, well, I'm gonna see... Yeah, I'm gonna cut away, and then when I fade back, he'll be fully transformed into his robot mode. Oh, I'm sorry if I was getting a terrible angle of him, but there he is so far. He's pretty, he's almost done. Oh, and also you have to, I believe you separate these, and then you're supposed to, like... Yeah, just bring his wings in like that. Like, bring his wings down like that. And there he is most of the time. Now I'm gonna see if I can do something with these, figure out his arms, and then we'll have Armada Starscream. Okay, everybody, it turns out I didn't have to do anything with the arms, really. All I had to really do was, turn these wings around, yeah, and then get his narrow beam cannons functioning. They work. So, here is Starscream in his robot mode, and Swindle in his, in his vehicle mode. Now, in terms of a robot mode, he's pretty well done, especially in this Takara version, which is pretty accurate to the show, with white instead of a very light gray, and gold instead of that typical yellow. Now, the thing is that in terms of, I would like to call content, but I guess I have to say accessories. His accessories and overall his design are what really makes him better than animated Starscream. His design as well, they keep it loyal with having his window, his nose as his chest, the wings on the side, but they actually and also having his wings tuck under the bottom of his jet mode. But they experimented a little bit by giving him two big thrusters, his arms as missiles, and the only real major problem is this big backpack. Now, I don't mind it a whole lot because he had it in the show, but I don't know, I guess people realize, oh wow, this guy has a huge backpack when, in the show. But yeah, in terms of Armada, he's a solid A pretty much. They make him pretty much identical to the show, and he's always got that little smirk, and his head can actually go up and down. Yes, I know, I'm awesome. And his neural beam cannons are, of course, Swindle's gimmick. You just plug him on the side. Apparently I can plug him into his jet mode. I just have to, you know, I had to move him further down. I have to get him into that peg. Yeah, so you also have to kind of separate them. Okay, I got him, and there's his first one. You also got to activate right with his second one, and there we go. Those are his narrow beam cannons. Let me turn to the side, which he got after he received Swindle. And I think they fire well. I haven't tried it, but from videos, it looks like they can fire far. Let me see. I don't think it... Oh, wait. There you go. You press... there's a little, something... Yeah, there's a little, cleave here for your nail, and I guess you just... Yeah, you push it back. And there you go. His thrusters shot, and one of them fell under the bed. So, wow. Okay, let me get it. Where are you, my pretty thruster? Okay, intermission. Time to take a look for that little thruster cannon thingy. Okay, here they are. And yeah, they were easy to find. I just did that as a little joke. And you just put them back in. And they also appear to have another cleave so that they can go into... So you know where to put them into Armada Starscream. And also you can bring them back. And now you have Swindle. Oh, and apparently they just go back up. And you can activate them again. So really, yeah, Swindle, I think as long as you have Swindle on, you can put both narrow beam cannons back. Oh, looks like you can, so there we go. So that's pretty interesting to see, you know, Starscream taking Swindle for a ride. I don't know, something about this backpack and Swindle as like his kid makes me think that Starscream's a house dad. Which is pretty funny. But one of the coolest things about him, and one of my favorite part, and probably my favorite part of the toy, is they keep it loyal. You take off his wing, and it becomes his blade. The blade that he used to fight against the Starsaber sword, and the blade he used to cut Galvatron open in the last episode he was alive. So yeah, in terms of all of his accessories, this Armada Starscream, this Starscream definitely wins. Not only is he the best Starscream character-wise, but toy-wise I think he's the best Starscream. Even with this backpack, he still looks pretty impressive, and in this Takara version it shines through even more. So, yeah, I think I'm going to pose him like this, with his arms a little bit to the aside, because that's how it looked, because his arms were like this when he fired the laser narrow beam cannons when he died. So this one goes down too. Okay, whoops. Yeah, it's kind of hard to peg it in there, but you just gotta go. There it goes. And then you press down Swindle more, and I'm gonna have his narrow beam cannons flying up because, you know, coming up because, or down, because that's his gimmick. So, in terms of matching him up with the show, A, and as a toy himself, A. This is a really, really good figure. It doesn't get A+ because of the backpack, but in this Takara version, it gets extra points because it's just so awesome. Just look at that Starscream. He's kind of hollow in the back, but I can forgive it since I'm using him for posing. So, yeah, on a scale... Yeah, not on a scale, I just graded him. So, yeah, Starscream Armada is a solid figure. Even if you're getting the American version, I recommend you get this guy as a collectible. So, overall, yeah, A. Well, that's my... that's my cough for the day. That's my review for Armada Starscream, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.
Support Cybertron. Subscribe.
Oh, and, there's that.